Hmm. All right, guys. All right, let's react to Graham Potter's Arsenal Chelsea versus Arsenal pre-match press conference. Let's see what he had to say, and let's make sense of what's going on.
All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get stuck straight into this. Lots of things have been said in the pre-match press conference. Chelsea versus Arsenal. Graham Potter had to say quite a few things, and we're going to try and make sense of some of this information that's been provided, and trying to get a discussion going, I suppose. First up, it was all about Ben Chilwell, and rightly so. We need to know what's going on. Graham Potter on Ben Chilwell. He's going to go for a scan later this afternoon. He feels okay, but aware of the injury, we need to let the swelling settle down, hence the delay of the scan. So obviously the scan hasn't happened yet. There's a lot of swelling that needs to go down, and once that happens, there can be a scan. It doesn't look good, though. It does not look good. I wouldn't say he fears the worst until we get the scan. It's difficult to say. And he further goes on to say, at the moment, we're hopeful and fingers crossed. It's disappointing, of course. This is in regards to Ben Chilwell. Then he talks about Pierre-Emerick, Aubameyang. But let's have a little bit of a conversation in regards to Ben Chilwell. Look, guys, for me personally, the way the injury sort of looked once Ben Chilwell sort of went down, how he was holding onto his leg, it looked like someone shot his leg. He could not move it. He could not walk on it. Post-match as well on crutches, he could not move that leg. It was just stuck absolutely still. So look, as we made a video yesterday saying that we definitely need some sort of backup come January, whether it's bringing back a lone player in the likes of Ian Martin, Levi Colwell, possibly even both, if I'm being honest. Ian Martin, definitely a huge shout. There's definitely a need to do something about Ben Chilwell's situation. We can't obviously go for the rest of the season, even if it's for large chunks of the season, and he may come back just before the end of it, or maybe a couple of months before the end of it. We can't just be going on with Marc Cucurella. He will need rest. He will have dips in forms. And right now, Marc Cucurella is not in the best of form. So we need to have a certain player that can give good competition. And I think Ian Martin's name should be floating around. Sad news for Ben Chilwell. I mean, he's had a horrific injury last season, and it seems like there could be another one this season. Graham Potter, in regards to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, that's the next thing in the press conference. It's a big game. London derby, two good teams. Arsenal are doing really well. The history makes it an interesting one for Aubameyang. The past is the past. As far as we are concerned, we are focused on the game and want to play well. I mean, look, it's going to be electric. You know it's going to be electric. There's going to be a whole heap of animosity from Arsenal towards Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And I'm sure Aubameyang will have, certain things that he wants to showcase as well. He would love to get a victory against Arsenal after how it all ended with them. I'm pretty sure Mikel Arteta will probably want to get a victory against Chelsea and also put one against Aubameyang. There's definitely a lot of tension between Aubameyang and Mikel Arteta. And the way this storyline is going to turn out, it's going to be very, very interesting. He's looking forward to the game. He's been pretty normal this week. Come match day, I'm sure he'll be pretty determined. Look, we need Aubameyang to bang, man. I mean, I didn't really appreciate the way he was missing so many chances against Salzburg. There was at least good 2 to 3 chances. Should have taken one against. Who did we play last? I think it was Zagreb. Yeah, against Zagreb, he was playing more on the left side. I don't really like him playing there. I'd rather have him play through the middle. He had a really good shot cutting in from that left side, but overall, don't really want to see him play there. I'd rather see Sterling there and Aubameyang through the middle. It'll be interesting to see what sort of system setup that we go with, formation that we go with against Arsenal. But yeah, we need this guy to score goals week in, week out. The way he started initially, he was banging in goals against AC Milan, I believe against Wolves as well. And then since then, it sort of dried down again, and we need this brother to kick back into gears. Obviously, he didn't play against Brighton. Really expected him to play, but he didn't play. Nonetheless, we got hammered by Brighton. Graham Potter on matching Arsenal's intensity. Very important. If you don't do that in any game, it's a challenge. We have to be ready for the game. This is the part where I am scared the most, ladies and gentlemen. It's the speed. Arsenal's speed is gonna bother us, and we've got quite a few passengers. Most importantly, on the right side, if Azpilicueta plays, which I'm pretty sure he will. I can't see who else plays on that right side. So it's going to be interesting how we match up with their intensity, even in midfield, the way they move the ball around and some of their attacking players in the likes of Martinelli and Saka. It's going to be very, very interesting how we, match up with that pace. This is where it's going to be won and lost for me, honestly. If they come out of the blocks, all guns blazing, and we aren't able to compete and take care of that situation, we aren't able to, control that tempo, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be an absolutely long day. Graham Potter on extra 24 hours preparing for Arsenal clash. The fact that we are all playing so much, it's not that big of a deal. It's helpful. It's an extra 24 hours. We'll take it. We are all used to the quick turnaround. I mean, look, for me, whoop-de-doo, we've got the extra 24 hours. Arsenal, they didn't start with too many starters anyway. I looked at their lineup against FC Zurich. Yeah, one or two players that are starters, but majority of the team didn't start. So they're going to be well rested. And look, they're top of the table, man. Like, they're going to have that extra bit of buzz about themselves that they want to continue on. Like, there's a lot of Arsenal fans that are saying, if they beat us or if they get, some sort of positive result. I mean, I guess the positive result will have to be a win. I don't think draw would be a positive result for them because Man City's just, on their prowl. If they do win, there's a lot of Arsenal fans are saying that they are going to start thinking about title race. So, look, we've got to stop them. And I'm pretty sure, regardless of that 24 hours, they're going to be buzzing. And we better be up for the task, man. I hope our players, they know the magnitude of this situation very well. Now, we know this is what Graham Potter had to say further on. We know the job noise. We are disappointed because we didn't play well versus Brighton. Good performance versus Zagreb, trained well, and now we have to take that into Arsenal. Look, yes, Zagreb was a good performance. We should have scored more goals. I still don't think it was a polished one. Yes, we controlled it after conceding. As I said, we should have scored more goals. We're not clinical enough. But in the league, Champions League is a different ballgame. In the league, we've not been good. Draw against Brentford, draw against Man United, a heavy loss against Brighton. And even before all of that, a win against Aston Villa probably wasn't completely deserved. It was really Kepa and Mason Mount that sort of got us over the line. So for me, this is a W, man. Like, I don't see any other way. So I hope the players, they really put out a very good performance and give us a win. We've got a big week, 2 league games, a cup game in between. We have to focus on the next one. Arsenal, try our best to win. We have to try our best to win. Graham Potter on the opening 2 months in charge. Objectivity it's been a lot of games in a very short time. Training time very limited. Getting to know the players. Really happy with the response from the group, understanding them more. Further goes on to say, performance-wise, we can do more and improve. At the same time, when you understand the mess of fixtures and injuries, we've done okay, but room to improve on. Look, there's a really good video that's going to come out very soon with Drog Bubba and myself on his channel. Do check that out, where we talk about Graham Potter's tenure so far. Look, we can sit here and try and be critical, but at the same time, we have to appreciate the fact that Graham Potter, just like Thomas Tuchel as well, has been met with a lot of adversities. Like the amount of injuries Graham Potter is having to deal with, especially the injury of Reece James. It is a huge deal. I know a lot of people will say, Miz, one player shouldn't make a difference. No, it does. A player like Reece James makes a huge difference on that right side. When you don't have him, defensively you're weak, offensively you're weak as well, because he scores goals and he assists as well. And defensively, you don't need to compensate for someone like Aspilicueta, where you have to double up over there. Aspi against Martinelli, you need to give him some cover with Chalobah. Whereas Reece James against Martinelli, that's going to be a fantastic matchup, and you're gonna probably back Reece James to come on top. Reece James was matching with Vinicius Jr. Do you know what I mean? Probably the best left-sided winger at the moment in world football. Reece James was able to pocket Zaha. Reece James was able to do madness on Rafael Leao. So not having Reece James there and having Aspilicueta is a huge factor. And, the opposition is really aiming for that side. And then also on the left side, when you don't have Cucurella on his best form, can be a problem. Now Ben Chilwell is injured. Koulibaly has been injured for a little while. So we have to be patient. Expectation, it's a bit of a strange one. Like, yes, a lot of you guys are probably thinking, Miz, this is a difficult game coming up against Arsenal. A draw is a good result. But at the same time, a lot of you guys want top four. And if we want to compete for the top four and try and aim for top four, we have to win games like this. And then there's Newcastle. If majority of people are saying, Miz, let's just get a couple of draws against Arsenal and Newcastle, say goodbye to the top four, because we're finding it difficult to beat Brentford and Brighton. So where's the W going to come from? Do you know what I mean? So look, it's tough. It's tough to judge Graham Potter at the moment. We have to wait. We've got to give him at least some transfer windows to get his players in, and we have to wait till these players that are injured comes back. And at the same time, we have to give him time to embed his style of football, his philosophy. So it's a tough situation where we're at, man. But we need wins, but at the same time, we have to be very, very patient as well. Graham Potter on pressure to keep good record versus Arsenal going. Recently, it's not gone so well, if I'm not mistaken, so we have to do better there. London Derby, anything can happen. We want to be positive, play well, get the crowd involved. I think, look, recently, we've not been really that well against Arsenal. Obviously, pre-season, we got our ass whooped. Before that, I'm pretty certain they've beaten us in the second match of last season. First match, obviously, with Lukaku, we did well. And even the season before that, under Frank Lampard, I remember like Arsenal were going through a mad run of losses, and their first win was against us after like 2 months. And that too with their C team. Look, we don't have a good record in recent times, and we need to rectify that. And I hope the players feel some sort of, hunger, desire to beat Arsenal Football Club. Graham Potter on Raheem Sterling's form. Like us all, we can improve. But again, I don't like to zoom in on individuals. It's a collective challenge. That's what I'm responsible for. Look, need Sterling to have a blinder of a match. Obviously, he scored that goal against Zagreb, but probably should have scored a hat-trick. And this is where the issue with Sterling is. It seems like he needs a lot of production. He needs a lot of chances to put one away. He's got to change that. He's got to be able to be a lot more ruthless. Do you know what I mean? Like, should have scored at least 2 against Zagreb. And I'm glad he scored 1 and get that sort of feel back of scoring again. This match, much like the Aubameyang situation, need a huge performance from Raheem Sterling. And Graham Potter's right. If the entire team plays as a collective better, you're going to see a better performance from Sterling, and you're going to see a better performance from Aubameyang, and so on and so forth. Graham Potter on bridging the gap on Man City. There's a lot of things, aligning things in a better way, how we recruit, develop the football idea. We need some time in that regard because of the changes, a little bit of stability and clever recruitment to add to what we have. It's interesting how Graham Potter talks about recruitment, and I think this is what it comes down to. Some of our recruitments in recent times have really let us down. And he's right, getting those key players, those gems, and we've made those, signings off field to bring in director of recruitment, technical directors, head of recruitment. I hope come January transfer window, right-sided player, right wing back, right back, whatever it is, we need a fullback to give cover for Reece James and give something for Graham Potter to compete for the rest of the season. With Champions League coming up, rest of the Premier League coming up, post the World Cup, obviously, cup matches, so on and so forth. We need minimum someone on that right side, possibly a midfielder. I think it's quite needed. Don't know where the Zakaria situation is going to be. Obviously, Zakaria had a really good debut against Zagreb. We'll see how that continues. But I still think we need someone in the middle. There seems to be a lot of injuries occurring there. Left side as well. We need to probably bring someone in. So Graham Potter's right. City have been doing well because a lot of it to do with the recruitment, but at the same time, their structure is quite solid as well. Their footballing philosophy. So all of that matters. It's going to take a bit of time. It's going to take a bit of time for us to bridge that gap. Right now, we're nowhere near that particular situation. Graham Potter on team news versus Arsenal. Kovacic trained today, so he's in contention. Carney has a slight issue with his hamstring that we are getting to the bottom of. Can't believe, man, these hamstring issues. Even Chukwuemeka now, like I would have enjoyed seeing Chukwuemeka in midfield. And it's sad that he's not around. Kovacic looks to be fit, which is good. I mean, he was sort of on and off, getting minutes, sometimes starting, and then he sort of goes off around 60th minute, 65th minute. So good to see him. Hopefully he's fully fit. Graham Potter on Kepa Arrizabalaga playing before World Cup. No, I don't think so. So there you go. That's the end of Kepa before the World Cup. It's going to be Mendy, and I hope Mendy, his distribution, his ball playing ability, his sweeper keeper ability, I hope all of that is intact. It's going to be needed against Arsenal. It's going to be needed against Man City in the Cup. It's going to be needed against Newcastle. I wish him the best, that he does well. Really sad for Kepa Arrizabalaga, who is doing well, and I hope he has a very good World Cup and he comes back after the World Cup and competes once again for that top spot as a goalkeeper. So look, good news that Kovacic feels fully fit, and then he should be featuring against Arsenal. Chukwuemeka is injured. Obviously, Chilwell's injured. Fofana, Kante, and a whole heap of other list of players that are injured. Chilwell as well. So, it's going to be interesting what sort of lineup. Obviously, I'll do my preview tomorrow. You'll see what lineup I go with. This is the summary, ladies and gentlemen. Kepa out, Ben Chilwell out, Chukwuemeka out. Obviously, the rest of the other players that have already been mentioned, long-term injuries, they're out. Kovacic is in. And that pretty much ends the press conference side of things. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know how you felt about everything that Graham Potter sort of talked about, how you feel moving into this game. Obviously, there's conversations about Aubameyang. Let me know in the comment section. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like button if you have. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. Hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, see ya.